Ever wondered why some investors seem to ride a rocket ship while others steady a shield? Your choice between the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100 is more than just a ticker. It's your financial DNA. I'm joined today by our lead analyst. We're breaking down 20 years of data to show you exactly where your money belongs. Stick around, because this breakdown will change how you look at the stock market. Let's take a smooth journey through the heart of the US economy. Let's dive in. First, the heavyweight champion, the S&P 500. Created in 1957, it's the gold standard for tracking the 500 largest public companies in America. It's a diversified buffet. You're not just betting on tech, you're betting on hospitals, gas stations, and even the cereal you ate this morning. And then there's the challenger, the Nasdaq 100. It's leaner, meaner, and focused on the 100 largest non-financial giants on the Nasdaq exchange. One critical rule here: no banks allowed. The Nasdaq 100 was designed from day one to showcase growth stories, not the financial establishment. Exactly. While the S&P covers the whole field, the Nasdaq is a precision strike on innovation. But which sector truly rules them both? Technology. In the Nasdaq, tech is more than half the entire index. In the S&P, it's a significant but smaller piece of the puzzle. Now let's talk about power. The Nasdaq 100 is incredibly concentrated, often called top-heavy. Meet the Magnificent Seven. These tech giants dominate both indices, but their weight in the Nasdaq is staggering. Did you know that the top 10 holdings in the Nasdaq can account for nearly 50% of the total weight? That's a lot of eggs in one basket. Take Nvidia, for example. It alone commands over 12% of the Nasdaq 100. In the S&P, its influence is significantly more diluted. The S&P 500 relies on a broader base of industrial and healthcare giants to provide stability when tech takes a breather. History tells a compelling story of growth. Since late 2007, the Nasdaq 100 has surged by over 1,300%. That's more than double the S&P 500's total return of 560% over the same period. The gap is truly historic. In fact, the Nasdaq outperformed the S&P in 14 out of those 18 years. It's been an incredible run for growth investors. What fuels this rocket? Innovation. Nasdaq companies spend a much higher percentage of their revenue on research and development. Nasdaq firms spend nearly 12% of sales on R&D. Without them, the rest of the market spends less than 2%. But let's be real, those gains don't come for free. The Nasdaq 100 is significantly more volatile. It's a bumpier ride. Remember 2022? The Nasdaq plummeted 28% while the S&P 500 fell only 13%. That's a huge difference in your portfolio's value. Higher interest rates hit high-growth valuations much harder. The S&P's diversification acts as that umbrella during the storm. You're also paying a premium for that growth. The Nasdaq often trades at much higher price-to-earnings ratios compared to the broader market. Choosing between them depends on your horizon. Are you looking for steady wealth preservation or aggressive growth? The S&P 500 is curated by a committee. They don't just pick the biggest, they pick companies that represent the current state of the US economy. The Nasdaq 100 is rules-based. If you're big enough, listed on the Nasdaq, and not a bank, you're in. It's a pure reflection of market cap. In July 2023, things got so top-heavy that the Nasdaq had to perform a special rebalance. They had to limit the power of the biggest giants. When 5 companies make up over 40% of an entire index, a single bad day for one CEO can tank your whole investment. That's concentration risk. But then there's the AI boom. The Nasdaq 100 is the primary architect of the world's new artificial intelligence infrastructure. That AI fuel led to a 55% gain for the Nasdaq in 2023 alone. It was its best year since the dot-com era. If you're looking for passive income, though, the S&P 500 is your friend. It offers much higher dividend yields because it includes mature, cash-rich companies. Think of old-school giants like Johnson & Johnson or Coca-Cola. They might not grow like rockets, but they pay you just for holding them. Nasdaq companies prefer to reinvest their cash into R&D. They're betting that future growth will be worth more than a check today. Keep an eye on the Fed. High interest rates make future earnings less valuable today, which is why the Nasdaq is so sensitive to rate hikes. The Magnificent Seven are the engines of both indices, but in the S&P their influence is balanced by industrial and financial titans. Both indices are global. These aren't just US companies, they are world-dominating brands with revenue coming from every continent. It hasn't always been easy. Between 2000 and 2010, many investors called it the lost decade as markets struggled to recover from the dot-com crash. During that time, the S&P 500's diversification was a literal lifesaver. It helped investors weather the storm better than the tech-heavy Nasdaq. Can you stomach a 30% drop? The Nasdaq will test your nerves. The S&P 500 is generally a smoother, more predictable journey. Diversification is your only free lunch in investing. By holding the S&P, you're protected by sectors that often go up when tech goes down. This is called sector rotation. When investors get scared of high-growth valuations, they often hide in the stable, boring sectors of the S&P. But if you want the leaders of tomorrow, AI, biotech, clean energy, the Nasdaq 100 is where those pioneers live. You pay a premium for that access. How you enter matters. A lump sum in the Nasdaq can be risky if you time it wrong. Dollar-cost averaging can smooth out those wild swings. By investing the same amount every month, you buy more shares when prices are low and fewer when they're high. It's a great way to manage Nasdaq volatility. Don't let fees eat your returns. Low-cost ETFs like VOO for the S&P or QQQM for the Nasdaq are vital for long-term compounding. Most pros don't just pick one, they use both. A heavy base of S&P for stability with a growth tilt from the Nasdaq for higher potential. If you have a 10 or 20-year horizon, the short-term volatility of the Nasdaq often becomes a footnote in a massive growth story. Don't underestimate the power of reinvesting S&P dividends. Over decades, that compounding effect can rival even the highest growth stocks. Your future self will thank you for the discipline you show today. Stay invested, stay curious, and keep learning. Whether you choose the shield or the rocket, the key is to stay invested. If you enjoyed this analysis, please like and subscribe for more educational finance content. See you in the next one. Our goal here is to empower you with the knowledge to navigate these markets with confidence. Building this bond with our viewers is why we do what we do. These aren't just American indices, they are global engines. When the US market moves, the world follows, making your investment a stake in global progress. Our goal here is to empower you with the knowledge to navigate these markets with confidence. Building this bond with our viewers is why we do what we do. When 5 companies make up over 40% of an entire index, a single bad day for one CEO can tank your whole investment. That's concentration risk. But then there's the AI boom. The Nasdaq 100 is the primary architect of the world's new artificial intelligence infrastructure. That AI fuel led to a 55% gain for the Nasdaq in 2023 alone. It was its best year since the dot-com era. If you're looking for passive income, though, the S&P 500 is your friend. It offers much higher dividend yields because it includes mature, cash-rich companies.